ये हम दोनों के लिए बहुत ही परफेक्ट क्वेश्चन है क्योंकि
है
हम
ना?
बहुत बड़ी शादी कर चुके हैं।
बहुत शादी कर चुके हैं यार, बचपन से शादी करते जा रहे हैं।
हाँ मतलब
Yeah.
खाना खाने ही तो जाते हैं
हाँ,
शादियों
चॉइस वो
अपनी
होता है
खुद
ना
की शादी ना हो तो
कि बहुत दूर है, बहुत
Yeah.
लेट है, पर खाना अच्छा मिलेगा क्या?
Of course, yeah. I think that's the
और
story of
पंजाबियों में तो और भी होता है मतलब
या फॉर श्योर।
true. Yeah, that's the story of everyone's
शादी
life.
ठीक थी, दाल मखनी अच्छी नहीं थी उनकी। एक्चुअली मेरी माय मदर कीप सेइंग कि बेटा खुद ढूंढ लेना।
That's-
ये एडवाइस देती
ये
रहती है।
बेस्ट है यार।
या प्लीज खुद ढूंढ लेना, हम नहीं जा
नहीं,
सकते,
पर
मैं
आंटी,
ढूंढ
मैं ढूंढ लूंगा।
Yeah.
I'll help.
थैंक यू।
Hi guys, this is Himesh and welcome to Pinkvilla. Today we have with us Abhimanyu and Sanya who are all gearing up for the release of their new film Minakshi Sundareshwar. Welcome to Pinkvilla guys, it's lovely having you here.
Thank you for having
थैंक यू
us.
सो मच हिमेश।
So firstly, could you tell us what makes this couple relevant and adorable today?
What makes them relevant is that they're very today's individuals. They have different aspirations, and they stick to their aspirations and they're true to themselves. They don't want to I mean, they are accommodating, they are understanding, but at the same time they want to stick to the values and to the dreams that they have individually.
That's
And
true.
For you, Sanya?
As Abhimanyu said, that they both have their own, life. They're not trying to change each other.
Yeah.
That's like the perfect relationship, है ना?
Correct.
Where you're not trying to change the
They're
other
trying to make
person.
the other person a better version of themselves.
Yes.
Like they want to be better.
Hmm.
And how has the concept of marriage evolved ever since you have known of it till now?
ये हम दोनों के लिए बहुत ही परफेक्ट क्वेश्चन है क्योंकि
है
हम
ना?
बहुत बड़ी शादी कर चुके हैं।
बहुत शादी कर चुके हैं यार, बचपन से शादी करते जा रहे हैं। तो you know it's the more you get married, the less unique it is.
I feel it's not rushed anymore. That's what I like to believe. At least for me personally, I am not going to rush into it.
Yeah.
And luckily, I do not have that sort of pressure from my
Pressure, yeah.
parents too. Though I want them to put pressure on me.
It's become very individual. They don't conform to society anymore. Now marriages are very individualistic. You know, सबको अपने तरीके से करना है,
Right.
अपने they want to live their own life in their way, and that's amazing because then everyone's happy. You don't have to live according to the standards of someone else's happiness. कि society बोलती है ऐसे जीना पड़ता है तो हम ऐसे ही जिएंगे नहीं. You know, they're all progressive thinkers now, and they put it into use in their relationships,
True.
which is great.
True. And you know, in the film, you are a Rajnikant fan. Who do you both of you like or are a fan of in real life?
I mean, there's so many wonderful,
Yeah.
talented actors all around us, yeah. And who are your favorites?
Tabu.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
I love Tabu.
amazing. Yeah. Ranbir Kapoor, I'm a fan.
Ranbir Kapoor and Tabu. Oh, that's interesting choices actually.
Hmm.
And talking about concept of marriage, do you think the expectations are different for boys and girls when it comes to arranged marriage?
Of course. I mean, again, it becomes very
Definitely.
individualistic.
Yeah.
But there are, I'm sure a girl would have different expectations from a guy, and a guy would have different expectations from a
Because
girl.
usually girls have to like leave their
Yeah,
homes and-
that's a major change that they have to go through. Women in our society have to take on a new world, a new family, a new house, a new bedroom partner. So they have to go through a vivid way of changing their whole lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
And in
Yeah.
our film, I think it also covers that
covers
aspect
that
of
as
it
well,
very
you know.
beautifully.
Yeah.
Well, could you elaborate
Meenakshi.
on that front?
I mean, like she in the film.
There's a dialogue.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can you please?
Yeah. In which Meenakshi says कि world की पहली refugee पता है कौन थी? The बहू.
Okay.
So which is so true.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
that's true. Yeah, of course. And we all honestly, I've been to many marriages, attended many weddings just for food. Have you attended weddings for food? Or any
Always.
gate crashed any
Khan-
wedding?
Gate crash
मैंने
मेरा
किया।
सपना रह गया
नहीं,
है.
मैंने किया.
हाँ.
मैंने किया.
Wow.
There are a couple of wedding halls in Juhu where I live.
Yeah.
So बारात आते जाते रहती है वहाँ पर, और एक बार मैं जब मैं कॉलेज में था एंड रिक्शा से घर जा रहा था तो आई स्टॉप द रिक्शा बिफोर बिकॉज आई सॉ द बारात वाज गोइंग एंड दे वर गिविंग आउट आइसक्रीम्स एंड दिस वाज पीक समर इन द आफ्टरनून. आई सेड आइसक्रीम है यार, नाच लूंगा थोड़ा, आइसक्रीम मिल जाएगा. सो आई वेंट एंड डांस्ड ओवर देयर, हैड एन आइसक्रीम एंड देन वॉकड होम फ्रॉम देयर.
And of course, you must have attended for food as well.
Yeah. हाँ मतलब
Yeah.
खाना खाने ही तो जाते हैं
हाँ,
शादियों
choice वो
अपनी
होता है
खुद
ना
की शादी ना हो तो
कि बहुत दूर है, बहुत
Yeah.
लेट है, पर खाना अच्छा मिलेगा क्या?
Of course, yeah. I think that's the
और
story of
पंजाबियों में तो और भी होता है
Oh,
मतलब
yeah, for sure.
true. Yeah, that's the story of everyone.
शादी ठीक थी, दाल मखनी अच्छी नहीं थी उनकी
That over there, everyone becomes a critic. क्या ना,
That
that's
is the main topic of
yeah,
conversation.
true. And you know, what are the main red flags that one has to look out before getting married?
Oh, there are many.
There are many red flags.
Make sure you don't make a carnival out of it. Acknowledge those red flags. I
Yeah.
think the fact that you, as like,
I think being honest to each other
yeah,
would
true.
be the best way to begin.
Hmm.
Ki, you know, show your faults
Hmm.
and let them accept you for the person you are.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then of course you can work on your faults and get better and help them deal with you. But I think that would be the basic of it.
True. Not showing your faults or your,
मतलब
you know,
basically
the
being
dark
true to
side of
yourself.
you
the,
is.
only the good parts. na?
Yeah.
सब दिखा दो. because
That's a
they have to
major
go
red
through
flag, to
everything.
be honest.
So don't hide those aspects.
Hmm.
Reduce it.
Basically, being true to yourself, being a true
True to
version
yourself
of,
and also true to your partner.
yeah,
Hmm.
true. That's yeah. And you know, are there any advices that you would take from your parents before getting married? Like, what are those advices that you would take?
वो तो मम्मा पापा से पूछना चाहिए what advices they want to give us.
वो जो देना चाहते हैं वो ले लेंगे हम.
Yeah.
But कुछ तो होगा like which you would want, you know, because you have been with them. Any references from their wedding, their marriage, or
मेरे पेरेंट्स ने तो भाग के शादी की थी.
Wow.
मंदिर में.
मुझे भी
that's
ऐसे ही करना है
exciting.
actually.
I don't think people know of that.
No, I think everyone knows that.
Actually, my mother keeps saying कि बेटा खुद ढूंढ लेना.
That's-
ये एडवाइस देती
ये
रहती है.
बेस्ट है यार.
या प्लीज खुद ढूंढ लेना, हम नहीं जा
नहीं,
सकते.
पर
मैं
आंटी,
ढूंढ
मैं
लेना.
ढूंढ लूंगा.
Yeah.
I'll help.
Thank you.
But what's your definition of an ideal marriage? Should it be a big fat Indian wedding or a small cozy?
Small cozy for me.
It has to be your important people. And बस वही warmth होनी चाहिए यार. They should be well wishers. And you should want to share your happiness with them.
Yeah.
That's
वरना
most
कोई ना कोई
important.
आके कह ही देगा कि दाल मखनी अच्छी नहीं है.
हाँ.
Yeah. And how do you view distance relationship? There is an aspect of distance relationship too.
Distance relationship now, because of the pandemic, I think somewhat everyone has had the experience of somewhat having a long distance relationship when you can't meet up. I understand some couples have been forced to live together in this pandemic. Other than that, so there have been great opportunities for people to learn to have a life without their partners, but also make them part of their life. You know, there are a lot of ways to communicate. The world is smaller because of electronics and the media.
Yeah.
So that's helped long distance relationship a lot. And yeah, again, you need definitely way more understanding and patience in long distance relationship.
That's true.
Like in this movie,
Yeah, I
वही
think
तो दिखाया है हमने. The communication is so important. Some people stay and live together in the same room and are not being able to communicate to each other, but people who live across 7 seas can communicate to each other. और यही फिल्म में वो amalgamation भी है. It's just everyone's story, which is their story.
I think that what it makes our film very relatable.
हाँ.
What any tips, you know, given that from what we would see in the film, any tips from the characters as to how to make a long distance
सुंदरेश्वर ने ये फिल्म में सीखा है कि सच बोलो यार.
Okay.
Be honest.
And Meenakshi, na?
Patience.
Oh.
Every relationship
Yeah.
needs a lot of patience.
And what is the language of love for the two characters like? And how does it evolve through the narrative?
Love languages. That's a really nice question.
That's a
though.
good question. So Meenakshi.
I think words of affirmation for Meenakshi.
Yeah.
Sorry, words.
There's no words of affirmations
Okay.
for Meenakshi. I think there's no physical touch. So I think it's words of affirmations for Meenakshi.
Yeah. I believe that Meenakshi in the film, as you see, will want reminders that she is the love of Sundareshwar's life, and Sundareshwar has a lack of skill of communication. So his way of showing love is क्या तुमने खाना खाया, you know. वो I love you नहीं बोल सकता,
Yeah.
but he means that when he asks you
He
if you have
cares for you,
eaten.
basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's actually a interesting paradox
Yeah.
if we look at it. So yeah, and according to the two of you, what makes the two characters and the love story in the film relatable for the audience today?
A lot of things, as
They're
Abhimanyu
very
said,
simple,
yeah.
they're very simple characters.
Hmm.
You will find yourself, even if you're male, you will find yourself somewhere in Meenakshi. Even if you're female, you will find yourself somewhere in Sundareshwar. Not the situation, but the emotions that the characters go through is something that all of us in our generation and the generation before us have got. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the trailer also gives that vibe, because when I was watching it, even I could relate to some instances that
Why-
You were in a
that's-
long distance relationship too? Or are
I'm
you?
not, but I've seen people around me
Yeah.
who have been. So yeah. And last couple of questions. What is the definition of ideal partner for you as well as your characters?
For Meenakshi, I think it was love. When she saw Sundareshwar for the first time.
Cute, funny.
Fun, cute, funny, Rajnikant fan. For Meenakshi, I think for Sanya it would be cute, funny. And what?
For Sundareshwar, it wasn't really much of a decision. His family wanted him to get married, and he had to, he was just agreeable to the whole process. कि हाँ ठीक है, अब शादी करनी है तो कर लेंगे. It was more over that. But individually, what would you say?
For me,
Your ideal life partner.
cute, funny. Cinema lover.
Yeah, important.
Important, very
Of
important.
course.
Food, films, football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last words before signing off on the film for the viewers.
Please do.
Please, yeah.
पहले
आप,
तो,
आप, आप.
पहले आप.
Go ahead.
Please watch Meenakshi Sundareshwar on 5th November
5th November, correct.
on Netflix.
Please देखिए.
Thank you so much, guys. It was
Thank you.
lovely talking
Thank
to
you
you,
so much,
and wish you
Amish.
all the best.
Thank
Thanks
you so
a
much
lot.
for having us.
Hi, this is Sanya Malhotra.
Hi, this is Abhimanyu Dasani.
If you like this video
Then please like, share.
and subscribe to Pink Villa.